Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you for joining me for our live tarot session today, November 7th, 2024. Let's give a shout out to everyone here in the chat. Good to see you, Lisa. Much love, Exit 101. Good to see you, Abbott. Much love, Lilith. Much love, Nikosmas. Gandhi, great to see you. Daphne, much love. Holler Haint, much love. Mother Rhea, all the love in the world. Taz, great to see you. Christy, much love. Isaac, great to see you. Sixtus, good to see you. Zacchus, much love. Leslie, Sixtus, Isaac, much love. Wow. Thanks, guys. This is amazing. It's good to see you. Oh, Gomi Kuzu, good to see you. Much love. All right, let's start off by talking a bit about today's astrology. So we've now moved into the moon in Aquarius. This is beautiful, outgoing, socializing energy. It's that energy of wanting to flow, of wanting to express oneself, of wanting to get out into community and to be in harmony, to be innovative and adaptive and changeful. It's that flowing, free energy, and it's about moving in connection, right? And it's such beautiful, profound energy. Take this moment and connect to people. Be your outgoing self. Be your unique self. Flow with others, communicate, express yourself. It's powerful energy. And with that sun in Scorpio, which is so quick to want to expose its heart and so quick to want to leap, these energies go well together. It's a good moment to really be your unique self, to be in community, to be in understanding and in flow. So take advantage of the energy, my friends. It's beautiful. Let's also talk a bit about the title today. Make reality an echo of your being. I thought of this after drawing the Justice Adjustment card. Profound energy, and the painting I chose was of DK. Justice, right? That justice energy, which is all about reacting and overcoming adversity, learning to walk that middle path, to move in equality in flow, to recognize injustice and do something about it. It's that profound energy of transformation. And what I wanted to highlight here when I was meditating upon this energy was this recognition and this understanding that if we want to change the world around us, we have to start with ourselves. Know thyself, connect to yourself, be your best self. And if you are your best self in the world, your reality will begin to reflect it. You will attract the right people. You will move mountains. But it begins with that inner harmony, projected outward in flow, right? Be that echo, right? When the universe in the world around you comes up short, you come up greater. And you'll see what happens. Powerful energy, I'm telling you. Beautiful. And I wanted to read to you guys the Orphic Hymn to DK. And this one's translated by Kristen Mathis. Goes, Eye of Justice, DK, I celebrate you with song and dance, all-seeing, resplendent in form, you who are seated upon the holy throne of Master Zeus, beholding from heaven the life of all manner of the dying, a righteous avenger, oppressing to the unjust, imposing justice through equality, pitting the lawless and inharmonious against truth. For on all sides and all the dubious decisions carried out by mortals, evil inclinations or bad judgments by those coveting the whole of themselves through foul play and stacked counsels, you alone, trampling upon the unjust, stir up and awaken justice. You are averse to the uncivilized, but as gentle reason you attend the descent. So come, righteous goddess, appear as sensible teachings, show up as moral decision-making, pass good judgment, whenever, however, the fated day of life eternal suddenly arises. Wow. Beautiful energy, right? DK is that transformative justice that brings equality. And in this today's energy, I also wanted to remind us that the cycles always continue, right? The cycles always continue. What appears as dark one day will be light the next. And life always progresses forward in harmony. Tyrants always fall. How it is. All right. We are now going to go to the Ganapati Oracle. All right. Lord Ganesha Ganapati is the divine child, the Lord of beginnings and the guardian of the threshold, and the master of spirits. We ask them to send us a message through the text or through the cards and inspire us. So Ganapati, the beautiful one, what is the message? Enlightenment. Enlightenment. Inner knowing, right? Bringing that light inward. I immediately think of Virgo. Virgo. And DK is Virgo. It is connected to that energy, right? What we have is one of the interesting things in the Greek is that in the traditional zodiac that came from Egypt, you don't have Libra. Libra is a creation of the Greek and is almost a stand-in for the violence that is done between Virgo and Scorpio, separating them apart, right? So that justice energy is Virgo in many ways, and that hermit is Virgo. When we see that enlightenment energy, it is about reflecting that light of the moon into the deepest sense of self, right? It's about shining a light into the caverns and connecting fully, being in that mode of flow, listening, learning, and adapting, right? True enlightenment is to be able to live in the universe in harmony, right? To learn to live in the universe in harmony and acceptance. It's profound and it's beautiful. And we're going to actually go to our sortes, but I want to do a very specific book. Since we're talking about enlightened people going with the flow, let us go to the Tao Te Ching and talk about the great Lao Tzu. So muses. Well, before we do that, though, we're going to do the sortes, which is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination through literature, and it comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition. And we invoke the goddesses of inspiration, the divine muses, and we ask them to send us a message through the text. So muses, what is the message from Lao Tzu? Inspire us this evening. The Tao in brightest scene seems light to lack. Who progress in it makes, seems drawing back. Its even way is like a rugged track. Its highest virtue from the veil doth rise. Its greatest beauty seems to offend the eyes. And he has most whose lot the least supplies. Its firmest virtue seems but poor and low. Its solid truth seems change to undergo. Its largest square doth yet no corner show. A vessel great, it is the slowest made. Loud is its sound, but never word it said. A semblance great, the shadow of a shade. Wow, there's so much here. Brightest seen seems light to lack. So when the light is darkest, that is when the way is brightest. Because you find the reflection in the dark places in the night. Scholars of the middle, who progress in it makes seems drawing back. When you make progress, it seems like you are not. You're drawing away. Its even way is like a rugged track. Even though you're walking an even middle path, it may seem to the outside observer as walking a rugged path. And we've often seen that image of the long and winding road because the middle path is long and winding. It's not straight and narrow. It is about learning to weave between the poles, to mitigate and pass through the gate. Right. Its highest virtue from the veil doth rise. Its highest virtue from the veil doth rise. Right? When we remove the veil from our eyes, that's when we can see the highest virtue. This is about that light bringing energy of gaining wisdom and experience the truth, seeing things as they are. Its greatest beauty seems to offend the eyes. True beauty is often not perceivable in the same way, right? Those who aren't in flow can't see it for what it is because they're bound in ego or they're bound in possession. And he has most whose lot the least supplies. Those who want for nothing, those who ask for little, have the most virtue, right? Its firmest virtue seems but poor and low. Its firmest virtue seems but poor and low. Because those without, those who are not seeking possession, those who are not seeking grandeur, these are the ones, right, who truly have something. Its solid truth seems change to undergo. Its solid truth seems change to undergo. That's because within our experience of limited time, change is our perception. We can only see that truth when we can expand outside and be aware of the larger picture. Its largest square doth yet no corner show. You cannot see the edges, it appears round. A vessel great, it is the slowest made. This takes a lot of time to come into this enlightenment. It's slow, hard work, right? And the vessel that carries it, right? It's that chariot energy. Loud is its sound, but never word it said. Loud is its sound, but never word it said. It's that vibration, right? That energy that pushes through everything. A semblance great, the shadow of a shade. Both of these last lines really make me think of the goddess Diamuta. Loud is its sound, but never word it said. A semblance great, the shadow of a shade. Wow. Interesting. Lots to think on with this one. All right, let's continue. We are now going to go to Lewis Carroll, Adventures in Wonderland. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Lewis Carroll? Inspire us. Let the jury consider their verdict, the king said, for about the 20th time that day. No, no, said the queen. Sentence first, verdict afterward. Showing you the absurdity of all this. The king and the queen having a jury that does nothing. They're going to commit the sentence before the jury can even deliberate. And it doesn't matter what the king says, right? It's all pedantry, pageantry, all silliness. You know, and often that's true. Often it's true. The bureaucracy of the world is far less bureaucratic than we would like it to be. Wow. Interesting. Byron. Okay, excuse me. Selected poetry and letters. Muses, what is the message from Lord Byron? Unless when qualified with the cognac, sweet naiad of the phlegethonic rill. Sweet naiad of the phlegethonic rill. Wow. Ah, why the liver wilt thou thus attack and make like other nymphs thy lovers ill? I would take refuge in weak punch, but rack in each sense of the word whenever I fill my mild and midnight beakers to the brim, wakes me next morning with its synonym. He's talking about getting drunk and then waking up with a severe hangover. Unless when qualified with the cognac. We're engaging that Dionysus energy, right? Dionysus, god of the mountain Nisus, god of the nymphs. And who do we have but a nymph? Sweet naiad of the phlegethonic rill. Ah, why the liver wilt thou thus attack and make like other nymphs thy lovers ill? I would take refuge in weak punch, but rack whenever I fill my mild and midnight beakers to the brim, wakes me next morning with its synonym. Wild, beautiful. All right, let's continue. We're going to go now to A Sinister Assassin, Antonin Artaud. Muses, what's the message from Artaud? And in that case, where do the beasts come from? From the world of corporeal perception. From that, the world of corporeal, sorry. And in that case, where do the beasts come from? From that, the world of corporeal perceptions hasn't achieved what it plans and is still incomplete. Wow, this is interesting. Where do the beasts come from? From the world of corporeal perceptions, dreams and half visions of things where the imagination takes over. Hasn't achieved what it plans and is still incomplete because the cycle is still churning. It's still creating new forms and the form hasn't been seen. And so it exists in that liminal reality of both real and dream. And it is in that area of unknowing where the imagination takes hold and beasts are born, right? In that twilight, exactly, between light and dark. What is the most magical morning moment of the day? The morning, right? When you get that transition, when Venus and the sun come together. Beautiful energy. Let's continue. We are now going to go to The Stranger by Albert Camus. Muses. Got my hand. What is the message from Camus? I didn't even have time to think. I was taken out, put into the van, and driven to the prison where I had something to eat. After a very short time, just long enough for me to realize I was tired, they came back for me. The whole thing started again. And I found myself in the same courtroom in front of the same faces. Doesn't this sound like Nietzsche's eternal return? Doesn't this sound like Nietzsche's eternal return? I didn't even have time to think. I was taken out and put into a van and driven to the prison. You die and are born like that, where I was given something to eat, grounded in the earth. And after a very short time, just long enough for me to realize, to come to reason, I was tired. Tired, wanting to return back to that dream. They came back for me. The whole thing started again, and I found myself in the same courtroom. Deja vu. In front of the same faces. Wow. Is that what life is? Are we woken up, fed, and stuffed off to court to face judgment yet again until we get it right? The House of the Dead by Jeremy Reed. Muses. What is the message from Jeremy Reed? Go home then. Distribute free drugs and build a monument to mirage men. Your fields will show a lexicon of crop circles, each colored by the psychedelic paradigm. Go home then. Distribute free drugs and build a monument to mirage men. Build a monument to those who are unseen, the idyllic. Right? Your field will show a lexicon of crop circles. More circles, yeah, Gandhi. More circles, more signs, right? Each colored by thy psychedelic paradigm. Wild. All right. We are going to continue. What do we got here? Let's see. We are going to go to Malador by L'Autrement. Muses, what is the message from Le Comte de L'Autrement? Le Comte de L'Autrement. Excuse me, anyone who speaks French. All right, let's see. The presence of the unhappy hermaphrodite has made the wood as august as a tomb. Wow. The presence of the unhappy hermaphrodite has made the wood as august as a tomb. What is that hermaphroditic energy, right? That hermaphroditic energy is the end in the beginning. It's that divine Faunes. It's that Horus the child, right? August is a tomb. What is that about? August is that royalty, as royal as the grave. Interesting. So much to think on. When you ascend that throne, what are you doing? Interesting. What do we want? Let's do... here we go. Women Who Run with Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Muses, what is the message from Christina Pinkola Estes? Now we are in another negrito of wandering and not knowing what will become of us. And yet in this very raggedy condition, we are brought to sup on the tree of life. I couldn't have asked for a more profound statement for this current moment. We have entered the negrito. We are wandering and not knowing what will become. Yet it is in this moment that we have the opportunity to taste the fruit of the tree and to make a new tower. Wow, much to think on. Okay, let us go now to the Divine Comedy, Dante. Muses, what is the message from Dante? Now go, since the sun will not rest 7 times in Aries, that couch that the ram covers and straddles with all 4 feet, before this courteous opinion is fixed in your brain with a deeper pining than other men's words, if the course of justice is not halted. Wow. Now go, since the sun will not rest 7 times in Aries. That couch that the ram covers and straddles with all 4 feet. We're talking about the throne again. that Virgo energy. Before this courteous opinion is fixed in your brain with a deeper pining than other men's words, if the course of justice is not halted. Justice confronts Aries, right? What is Aries? The bringer of war and violence. Who punishes Aries? Right? The course of justice is not halted. That Aries, that masculine, that ram will be silenced. But it will be silenced and there will be pain, right? Wow. Okay, we're going to do one final sortes. We're going to go now to A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Huxley? Inspire us. Mustafa Mon shook hands with all three of them, but it was to the savage that he addressed himself. So you don't like civilization much, Mr. Savage, he said. The savage looked at him. He had been prepared to lie, to bluster, to remain sullenly unresponsive. But reassured by the good-humored intelligence of the controller's face, he decided to tell the truth straightforwardly. No, he shook his head. No. Who's the savage in this situation? We don't even know this man's name, but we do know that he does not flow with their vision of civilization. Interesting. It makes me think of the Orphic hymn we read from earlier, right? Because if I go back to that hymn, there was the message in this version, in this translation of civilization. You are averse to the uncivilized, but as gentle reason you attend the descent. You attend the descent. But as gentle reason you attend the descent. You descend from the stars to the earth, and you help with gentle reason people become civilized. Interesting. What does it mean to truly be uncivilized? Who is civilized in that show, in that passage? I don't think it was the savage who was uncivilized. I think it was the named one, Mustafa, calling that other person a savage and asking if what he built was good enough. It wasn't. It wasn't. All right. We're now going to go to our tarot proper. But before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. It boosts everything in the algorithm, and I would truly appreciate it. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, you can reach out to me, Snappy, ddts@gmail.com, or you can find me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy or Lady Snappy. All right. And we are going to use the Tabula Mundi Tarot of M.M. Moline. And we will invoke the energy. Oh, wow. We got a card already. We will invoke the energy of Saturn Chronos and ask them to dissect our life, to cut it up and expose it upon the plate, to show us the interconnections. And we ask, how do we best move and flow? How do we overcome the conflicts? And how do we manifest our true will? And as always, the center card is the most important. And we had a center shoot us. Two of Wands. Two of Wands, Dominion. Dominion. This is beautiful energy, the Two of Wands, because it shows us two different things. One, it shows us that we have the power. We have the power to exercise our will. We are in control. It is about how we go about exercising this will. But even more so, it's about recognizing the duality of this energy, that the dominion comes when we combine forces and we come together. Two heads are better than one, right? And is that two energy that can create the third, and create that triangle of life. This energy is all about recognizing our power. And also, look, it's that Aries energy. We were just talking about Aries in our sortes, you know? And it's about recognizing that we have control to a certain extent. We have will. And it's about, what are you going to do with it? Where are you directing this power? What are you trying to achieve? And with whom? The two always tells us that there's more than one. Wow. Lady Justice on full display as we talk about DK. The Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords. Lady Justice upon the earth. Not in her higher transcendent Trump form, but in her immediate form, reborn upon the earth. And what is that energy about, that Queen of Swords? It's about justice and education and wisdom, right? That Queen of Swords is the ultimate bringer of reason. She's the ultimate teacher. She does that kin building. She spreads knowledge and works to transform society through community, through that sharing of knowledge. And what knowledge she brings is the reality, a balancing of the scales. She shows you when things are ugly. She shows you what the truth is. You know, many people are upset about this moment, but we know now what we face. The mask is off, right? The mask is off and reality has been laid bare. That's the first part of justice. Let's continue. Our center card from yesterday. We are still reacting and building upon this failure energy. This energy is still present. This inability to grow, to build upon our success, and instead to be knocked back, And what we're recognizing here is that this failure is about a revealing. It is about removing the mask, you know? And it's about recognizing our power, you know? In order for change to happen, the first thing that must happen is we must get rid of complacency, right? And that energy of justice gets rid of complacency through Saturnian power, right? Because again, that Virgo and Scorpio are connected, fundamentally so. And that Saturnian power of cutting, the Virgo is also Saturn. Virgil tells us this in his Eclogues, right? When Saturn reign returns, the Virgo comes back to bring that justice. Justice and tyranny are linked in many ways. Two sides of the same coin. And what it's about is that when it goes back to the phrase I read from Sophocles yesterday. Sophocles is Ajax. Do you stand firm in your grief? Do you stand firm in your grief? Do you hold justice paramount? Do you recognize what has been done? And are you going to do something about it? That is the fundamental question, right? When faced with suffering and pain, do you take it? How do you take it? What do you do with it? Do you let it go? Do you forget? Part of the power of justice, and one of the names of justice, is memory. She is the mother of muses. And it is that memnoscene, that memory, that reminds us of the suffering. As painful as that is, it is that recognition that allows us to change and to do something greater in the future. Something greater into the future, right? But you have to be forced to transform. It's the nature of our reality. It's why we go through the cycles. It's why we go through the trials. It's to make us adapt and to take responsibility. And what we are being shown here fundamentally is that we are being called to take responsibility for the failure and to recognize our power and do something about it. Stand firm in your grief, like that Dia Muta. When faced with the violence, she spoke truth to power, had her tongue ripped out, and was cast into the muck. But she didn't stop. Even without a voice, she speaks truth to power still, and she never forgets. Let's continue. This is beautiful energy. Earth of water, princess of cups. This is about, with that dominion power, is that we can give birth to the new generation that will overcome and transcend our current limitation. And it is always through generation, right? We're playing the long game here. All tyrants die, but life goes on and there's a better world around the horizon. Do you have the strength to nurture it? Do you have the ability to water those fields, to educate and ensure that that next generation can transform and grow and be greater? Oppressive energy, wands, oppression. Connected to that princess, that child that needs to be nurtured, that possibility of loving growth and community and connection, of truly bringing that watery love into the earth. We are faced with the 10 of Wands, that oppressive energy. But look, the cycle is ending. That oppression has reached its peak. It can't go anywhere, right? It can't go anywhere. We must reset the cycle. We reset the cycle with that love energy. How do you get out of this stuff? How do you get out of that stuff? Right? You're either forced to do it or you're embraced to do it. Two sides of that Saturnian coin again, right? Love and force. Let's continue. That 3 of Cups, abundance, that Trinity, forming this as our base, that base of expansive love and growth. It is out of this community, that connection, right? The 3 that I see here, the 3 cups, these are the Titanic muses, right? The fundamental pillars, that divinity too of the great mother and the twins. Leto, Artemis, and Diana. And Lucifer. Diana and Lucifer, Artemis and Apollo, right? The Dioscuri as well, Castor and Pollux, the Larrys. We're talking about Diamuta, the Larrys as well, Romulus and Remus. But it is that Trinity that will give us the strength to give birth to that new generation and overcome the oppression of this moment, right? We do it through loving, nurturing, for doing what is necessary today to manifest a new reality in the future. Let's continue. Wow. The 4 of Discs. That power base, that foundational energy. And look in the center here. I love this. You see the Pan, the face of Pan, the green man, the all. Because it is with that foundational energy, the building of the temple, that we create our foundation that gets us through the cycles of change, that gets us through the oppression. It is these two together that'll truly transform our reality. When we build that temple that can sustain us, provide us with that community support, provide us with that knowledge, protect that knowledge, so that we can continue to nurture that child into the future, right? And we create this through recognizing our own ability to do so and coming together in community, becoming that two-headed bird. Let's continue. And what does that foundation provide us with? The muses, the 9 cups, happiness unfolding, expansive growth, community, love, growing in expansive energy outward. That foundation is the source of love. It is that communal place, that creation, that tower, that city of ladies, right? As Christine de Pizan would say. Oh my gosh. We have her in her 2 forms here. We have the Virgo as Lady Justice come to earth. And we have the Virgo as the Queen of Wands. That fiery Medea energy, right? That one who pursues lust and passion and desire, inflamed desire, love, real love in all of its complexity. And that includes the animalistic lust for life, lust for flesh. It is that power of embracing life and pursuing it that builds our tower, right? And recognize that Medea energy, she overcomes the curse of Aphrodite and crowns herself empress. She revolts against the previous generation, right? She revolts against her father, Aeetes, and her mother, Hecate. And she takes Hecate's magic and she flips the pole. She turns the most violent war magic into the saving grace, the porneia, the good harbor, right? The force that gives us ionic life. And that's what we need to embody, that passionate, loving energy that has the strength to overcome tyranny and create a new world that can resist that cold and broken old order and flip it on its head. Wow. Profound energy today, guys. All right, I'm now going to flip my camera so you can see the full spread. And once again, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does help. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, reach out. You can find me on, you can email me, snappyddts@gmail.com, or find me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy or Lady Snappy. All right, let's take a look here. We'll start with Lady Justice. Is that Lady Justice energy, when we embrace that justice and we become that divine teacher, the one who shares wisdom, that we connect to the muses and to community and bring that love in our life. And it is that love and that strength that overcomes the oppression. How do we overcome the oppressive nature of the moment? Through loving community and through the pursuit of justice, through community, through that kinship building, in that motherly way. All right. Recognize your strength. Recognize that when you come together in community, when you come together with shared perspective, you have that power of dominion to transform the earth, to build that foundation, that temple of the muses that will give us the knowledge of the all, and that will give us the power to nurture and help this next generation grow to its highest, greatest form, to truly transform the earth into something better and beautiful for her, that divine child to come. How do we overcome the failure, right, of this moment? We overcome it with righteous anger and determination and passionate love. And we direct that anger, that loving energy towards community building and towards the muses. Not to war, but to practical means, to building that foundation, to drawing in that muse energy and manifesting community. Right? We slay and we incorporate that dragon energy rather than slay it. We transform it through that love. We ride it as our beast. Wow. All right, let's now look at our crosses. The micro begets the macro. It starts in the home with the loving connections of your partners, your friends, your family. And then it expands into that greater community. Find the personal muses in your own life. Find that energy of the home. One thing I always recommend to people now is to pray to the Mother of Gods, that Aka Laurentia, right? But do it as the Hearth Mother, as that Fornax Hestia, right? The Mother of Lares. The Lares are the daimones of home, of the present, of the place. It begins with the micro, building the temple in your home, building that connection in the home, connecting to these energies, and then connecting to that greater community. And then as that energy, you manifest that much greater community, that expansive, transformative energy, that 9, the muses in that loving energy of the cups, sharing that love with everyone. And then the last one, this is so intense. Recognize your power. Become that passionate goddess on the earth, that one that pursues desire and transformation because they know better. Be that moral strength, that one who has the ability to transform their reality and has the strength to do it, even if it gets ugly. That's how you resist the oppression, through that Medea energy. Medea is always pursuing love fundamentally. This is why so many people get confused with her story. They never read it to completion. They only read the plays. But her story ends with her giving birth to the Persian nation through the Medes and her son Medes becoming queen of a new entire generation, a new way of life, transforming and creating that divine spark that transcends and changes the world. We build that foundation. We recognize our power. And we embody these 2 great aspects of the goddess. That passionate transformer in the earth who has the strength to do what's necessary. And that divine Virgo who educates and reveals through that kin building. All right, everyone, that's the message. I hope it resonated with you. It certainly resonated with me. All right, let's do one final sortes and we'll call it an evening. The Stranger, Albert Camus. Muses, what is the final message today? Inspire us. I don't feel like talking, and I'll be seeing him soon enough as it is. Wow. To me, this sounds exactly like the goddess. She is the silence. And what does she tell us? I don't need to say anything other than to remind you that those energies you don't like will be returning to me in no time. Beautiful. All right, everyone. Thank you. Take care. And I hope I see you again tomorrow. Much love.